Freaking out there. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
What do all men of power want? More power.
My name is luca-Zanna. I was an Italian by birth, and I became an American by choice. Our lives and freedoms are in danger. This is not a drill. If you're listening to this broadcasting, you are the resistance.
All systems go.
Welcome to Love, Guns, and Freedom.
We're not afraid.
Here we go, guys and girls. Another Sunday, another show. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom on K-Talks 1340 AM and also 104.1 FM. We will talk about different things today. Of course, one of the topics we want to focus is going to be about taxation, especially when it comes down to property taxes. The reality is, do you really own the property, or maybe you just kind of a rental? Little bit nothing changed since the time of lords and kings. After all, you don't really own that part of the properties of the king. I mean, the land or your little castle or whatever you had, your little shack, at the end of the year, if you don't pay your ransom, you're not going to be able to use it anymore. Now, I have with me one of the few politicians that I really respect, since he was a state senator for the state of Arizona. Then, of course, right now is also a county supervisor for Mohave-County. His name is, former State Senator Ron-Gould, County Supervisor Ron-Gould. Ron-Gould, are you there?
I am there, or I'm here.
Are you there? Okay, good. Lisa, as I said, you're one of the few that I really support politically and respect. Even if sometimes we have disagree, at least you do what you say, and you stick to that principle. That's amazing, Some of these people, they go into office, they all look like, conservative people, and then out of the blue, they start to become part of the good old boys. Now, you posted something on your Facebook about the coming property tax increase, potential increase for the first home. Can you give us a little more details and what you think really is going on there, and if you agree or not with that?
Well, let me start out. When I was in the legislature, it must have been about 10 years ago, the legislature passed a bill called Truth in Taxation. And under Truth in Taxation, all the taxing authorities, your fire districts, the county, the city, the school districts, they all have to post that they're going to adopt the tax rate, and they all have to advertise that in the newspaper of record. And the newspaper record for the county is the Kingman Daily Miner. So they put the notice in it and tell you what your tax increase is going to be. But in this case, Mohave County is a big county, but they're only advertising it in the Miner.
Yeah.
So I thought, being a lot of people don't read the Miner, I'd go ahead and put the notice in my Facebook page, and so it would get out into the general public. And all those taxing authorities, they adopt a tax rate. The assessor values property, and then there's a math function to determine what the tax rate should be to bring in enough money to fulfill the budget requirements of all those different levels of government. And they play a game, and since recently the property values have been on the rise, they went up about 3%, these taxing authority levels of government play a game, and if they hold that tax rate, which is a multiplier, the same, and then your property goes up in value, your tax bill, the money you actually pay on your property taxes goes up. Yeah. And then they claim that this is not a tax increase.
Oh, really?
When clearly it is a tax increase.
Oh my God, sound like Obama and Obamacare.
So they all set a rate. In theory, what you should do is, when you're in a period of rising property values, you should set a lower rate so that you bring in the amount of money that you brought in the previous year.
Yeah.
But Mohave County actually had a $6 million surplus last year.
Wow.
But yet we're still raising everybody's property taxes 2 or 3%.
Wow.
Even though we ended up with a surplus last year, my argument is we should reduce that rate and bring in the amount of money we need not overtax people so that we have a surplus, because we all know that when government has a surplus, that surplus is going to get spent.
Oh, yeah. That's not in the saving for sure. And, we have 5 county supervisors. This is for people maybe that are new to Mohave County. And recently, a few years ago. And out of 5, what you see? Who is going to somehow, you have any idea who is going to support your stance, or you have no idea? What do you think?
Well, actually, we've already had a preliminary vote on the budget.
Mm-hmm.
And it was 4-1. I was the only one that voted against the budget.
Wow.
And I voted against that budget because it's built on a tax increase.
Wow. Well, it's pretty consistent with your, performance since you were state senator. I remember that, you never voted for one time increase in any type of taxation. And it was probably one of the best things I ever found in any politicians. I'm very perplexed, and, I have now county supervisor hildy-angius probably come in the next 20 minutes. And I told them, I'm not mad. This is not personal. This is not about being angry. Or maybe I'm hungry probably. But, it's about being disgusted a little bit, and also, disappointed. Because, I see no difference really from the way Mohave County politicians, county level at least, vote from Democrats. This is a Republican district, supposed to be conservative district, and I see most of the supervisors, beside you, completely voting the same way Democrat would vote. Always more taxes, always more spending, always more free program or stupid programs, like the TV and all the stuff, the cable. There's so many things. So I don't know. What do you think about what's going on here? Is this really a Republican problem, or maybe it's just a human problem?
Generally, people that want to hold office will align themselves with the political party that's in the majority in that area. When Mohave County was a Democrat county, the county supervisors were all Democrats.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Now that it's a Republican, in the last 30 years, it switched from Arizona was a Democrat state once upon a time also.
Wow.
And, so when it switched to being a Republican dominant state, then all the people that want to hold office all, sign up as Republicans. But I don't know that their core beliefs actually reflect that.
Yeah. Well, pretty sad. All I know that the 5th of August, I think it's, what is that? It's Monday. It's going to be a Monday. People should show up, and normally I've been kind of busy. I think this Monday, I would like to see, regardless of my commitment, other things, I would like to come. This is a very serious issue. Property tax is not just some sort of a thing that, your fair share. For me, it's really, truly the foundation of freedom. If you do not own your property, you're pretty much just living in illusion that you are free. Anything you want to add, Supervisor Gould, about anything, before I let you go?
Bear in mind that the founders talk about the pursuit of happiness in the Declaration of Independence. What the pursuit of happiness means is the ability to own property.
Yep.
That's what they meant. It really didn't have anything to do with being happy.
Or smoking a
It
joint.
had to be that you could own your own property, that you were not a serf in a country, that we're all free men and we're all equal.
Yeah.
And property taxation grew out of the feudal system because you had to pay tribute to your feudal lord.
Yeah.
If you were a serf. And essentially, they held that over when we created the nation and ended up with a property taxation that we have to pay tribute to government to own property.
Exactly. People don't understand that.
And,
You're right.
And the way that we do it is called the ad valorem taxation, which is Latin for at value. And really, the value of property has nothing to do with the amount of money that a government requires to provide a service.
No.
Back when we had the real estate bubble inflating, your house doubled in value within 3 years, and the government took that increase in property tax. But in reality, the rate of inflation of all services was only going up about 2% a year.
Yeah.
So it's a strange indirect way of taxation, but government likes it because it's stable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It doesn't go up and down with the economy like sales tax, or at least it didn't until the last real estate debacle. And if the government would quit playing games with loans and they created that bubble, and then the people essentially had their wealth looted by the collapse of the bubble.
Very good.
So if they would just stay out of that and defend the borders and defend our rights, and we'd have a whole lot less government, and we'd be a whole lot more free.
Exactly. We forget that. We fought. We fought. Our founding fathers fought to remove us from kings and lords. Now we just have elected kings and lords. I mean, that's the difference.
Right.
And
we get to elect our own king.
And you're still a serf because, maybe sometimes it's not even that, because with electronic, ballot or whatever, it's a kind of a show. But the reality is that you do not own property. People say, socialism or democratic socialism is not like communism. It's not true. It is still violent, because if I do not pay my property taxes on my property this year, after, I will not evacuate the premises on demand, they will come with a SWAT team and they will kill me. As simple as that.
Right.
So that's true. I mean, maybe they don't come straight with the tanks, but they will send you a couple of letters, nasty letters first, and then, through the system, they will finally evict you, and if you don't go out, they'll shoot you. And sad stories, because after all, especially for people who are seniors on fixed income, pretty soon the government will find a way, they already found a way, if they can put you out of your home, that you work for all your life. And this is so sad, your social security, your pension is never going to match the potential increase of value, as I said, every year. So it is something we need to really pay attention, unfortunately. Senator, Supervisor Gould, I appreciate you for all you do. And I really tell you, you give us a little bit of hope in this completely sewer pipe of politics, no matter where we are, county or state or federal. Thank you very much.
Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank you. All right. That was former Senator Ron-Gould. And I say, I don't even care about his personal likeness or not. I think he's a great guy. By the way, I use his services is in air conditioning business, and I always had a great rapport with him. But this is beside that. I look just at his voting records. If you believe that government is your God, stay away from him. He's not a guy. But if you believe that government should be little, just for what you really need, the basic things that, as you said, protecting your rights, protecting maybe our borders, that would be something very good. I'm being sarcastic. And leave us alone. Simple as that. That's the type of spirit we should have. That's the spirit that our founding fathers fought the revolution for. So property tax is really the antithesis of freedom. Think about it. They can take you out of your property. You don't really own their property. Especially if you are one day you're going to be on fixed income, like a social security or retired, whatever. Every year the property tax will keep going up. That's a fact. I never noticed going down. Maybe for a little bit, maybe a few cents one year, but trust me, the next year they will come back with vengeance. So this is the story. Why am I bringing this topic to Love, Guns, and Freedom? We have an audience that's very international somehow. I tell you, a lot of people calling from different parts. They are listening from different parts of the world and also from different parts of the country. Because the principle is the same. We are human beings and we have an oppressor. And this oppressor, in this case, unfortunately, doesn't come anymore under foreign army, but is on our own government. And I'm trying to find out a way, in a civil way, that we can take back our rights. Unfortunately, many parts of the world, you never had that opportunity. If you're still under the British crown, under the royal crown, you're still under queen or king. That's pretty much nothing changed in hundreds of years. But in America, a couple hundred years ago or so, our founding fathers fought and died and gave their limbs to be sure that we don't go back into this serf type of system. Now, unfortunately, we are back. At the same time, we still can take it back. At the same time, we can also still inspire others. Because 1776 supposed to be kind of a shot that was heard around the world for a reason. And I hope, we don't need to shoot anybody anymore. But I tell you, I hope that the rest of the world will rise up and say, government, leeches, bureaucrats, go find the real job and leave us alone. Let us live our life in peace and give us some happiness. We don't want to give. You don't need to give us anything. We're already happy. Just stay away from us. We'll be happy. Promise. That's my prayer. Now let me try to find out if I can get Supervisor Hildy-Angius, always from Mohave-County. Okay? Stay here. Don't go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM and also 104.1 FM. Don't go away.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman,
I'm not afraid.
and a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid.
Italian by birth,
I'm not afraid.
American by choice. Luca-Zanna
I'm not afraid.
and his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Luca-Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
Here we are. We're back into the studio. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM and also 104.1 FM. We just had County Supervisor for Mohave-County, Ron-Gould, and now I would like to have a person that I really have a long history with her. I mean, I love Mohave-County for many reasons. One of the reasons because, you know, in Arizona, our politicians, they are pretty close. And we have a chance to talk to them. We have a chance to support them, sometimes to disagree. And it's been always a great pleasure, coming especially from Italy, that politicians are like semi-gods. You can even talk to them. This is really a great experience. But don't get me wrong. Sometimes we agree, sometimes not. And I tell you, with the Supervisor Hildy-Angius, the history that we have, it's a long time. Before even she was a supervisor. And it's a really good memories. I tell you, I like the lady on personal level. I think she's a great lady. And she has done a lot of great things when she started to become a supervisor. One of the things I would like to remind, she was really part of the change in Mohave County. Her and also Supervisor Stephen Moss, that now is the Judge Moss, they've done an incredible job. I mean, you know, they brought back a little bit our Constitution, our basic rights to Mohave County. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not always to support, to say everything we agree. But so once in a while, when I see things that I think on the surface don't agree, I'm kind of vocal. She knows that. But nothing personal. This is not like about I'm angry. I may be hungry. Last night while I was reading the news about the new tax increase, I was eating and I was drinking wine. I was all happy. And out of the blue, I started to throw up. I said, what's going on, Hildy, here? But anyway, I really love Hildy-Angius as a person, and sometimes as supervisor I may disagree. But that's why we're here. We try to understand. I like to give her a chance to tell her exactly what's going on. Supervisor Angius, are you there?
I am here. Thank you, Luca.
Thank you.
And I want to add something to your historical overview of our relationship. I credit Luca, Mervyn, Friedman, and Jim Canellis for making it, for paving the road that led to the change. I don't think I could have been successful if they hadn't gone out on a limb and done the things that they did to shake up the county. And I've thanked him before, and I'll thank him again, because I haven't talked to him in a long time.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. By the way, as I said, you know, I really have a good report with you. I tell you, I'm not here to bash you. This is not about going to be debating. Okay. I just like to, you know, always give you a chance to at least, if you
I'm
believe.
Ready. I'm ready to tell you what's going on.
What's going on? I give you the floor. Shut up. Go ahead. Tell me why you believe that.
Okay. You can. If you have a question or you think I'm misrepresenting the facts, I want you to talk to me, because I want to tell everyone, because I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about this budget this year.
This is exactly the point.
It kind of upsets me, because it's been like the first year where we can take a breath. If anyone's been following, so when I took office, I ran in 2012 and I took office in 2013, we were, coming out, we're still in the recession, and Steve Moss fought those first couple of years, and sometimes I fought alone, that we, not to raise taxes, and I did anything I could do. Like, I scratched my way, trying to figure out how we can balance the budget without raising taxes. And sometimes I went out to the constituents, and we'd pour over the budget and see where we can take money. And I'm proud to say that in the 6 years I've been, and this is the 7th budget, we have never upped the rate, except for 1 year when I didn't vote yes on it, but they upped it 2 cents. But they took 2 cents off of the library district. So it was kind of a wash.
No,
So,
that's true. That's why. Hildy. That's why I say I completely. This is very true, and that's why I was surprised on this one. And my point is this one.
Right. Well,
go ahead.
Let me explain. So we did not raise the tax rate. In fact, this year we lowered it 2 cents. The Mohave-County property tax rate went down from $1.96 per hundred to $1.94. Okay. It went down. But I'm going to be completely honest. There's this thing called the TV district that everybody pays into, and you know this, Luca. I fought like a wild woman for years to get rid of that,
like
but
a beast.
The votes weren't there.
Yes.
Steve Moss and I went to battle for that, but we lost. It turns out that people really do use this, and I think they're using it now more than ever because of how expensive it is to get, cable TV. There's so many more options out there, but
it's not the right. You did the best you could, but I'm still shocked. It's like the TV is a right that the government must protect. I mean, give me a break.
I understand. And it was masked, and what made it more infuriating is it was masked under the guise of emergency information, right? So, and I said this, they were saying, well, in case of a catastrophic emergency, people can get their information. I said, in case of a catastrophic emergency, power is going to go off.
Exactly.
So your TV isn't going to be working. And they didn't. In fact, they doubled down and they put more, stuff into it, more things that it's supposed to do, and there's a supervisor out of Havasu who was dedicated to doing that. So we had no way of getting that, but it's always been a thorn in my side. But so what we did was, Steve and I, we kind of tried to chip away at it, because there was a lot. When we first took office, there was quite a lot of money in it, and more money than it should have had. It was overfunded, right? Yeah. So to balance the budget in those early years, we took money from that. The state legislature lets us take money from these special taxing districts. Again, for those of you, I sort of have to go back and explain to your listeners that your property tax is made up of so many different things, okay? The Mohave County, what you pay to the county itself for our operations, which is everything the county does except flood control and library, right? Those two are separate taxing districts, is only 17% of your bill. I downloaded my tax bill here in Bullhead City, so I can talk to you about it. And every time I look at it, I'm just amazed by how many different things we pay to. But Mohave County is only 17.77%. In my district, the biggest expenditure is the fire department. And that's like it is in all of the districts that have fire districts in them.
Yeah.
So, but we took the money from the TV district, and so now, after 7 years, it comes time to pay the piper. You know what I mean? That they're running out of money, and just to balance it, to pay for operations of it, we had to raise 2 cents.
Okay,
all right?
question.
So they lowered the
Ron-Gould said that, Supervisor Gould said that we have, correct me if I'm wrong, I want to be sure I got that right, $6 million of surplus this year. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
yes.
This bill these new pieces of, tax increase supposed to be, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm trying to be sure I'm accurate, okay? Is 2%,
okay, go ahead.
2.2% on the first home, right? This is a kind of going to touch mostly or exclusively the first house, the first home. 2% is going to be happening, right?
Right.
So we're going to have, let's say you have one home.
Wait, but it's not this is, the assessor is responsible for valuation. Okay.
Okay.
We don't make that decision.
Oh, I
we have
understand
nothing to do with it. The assessor is elected, just like we are.
Yes.
So, if you have a problem with that, she says that there's a proposition. You should talk to her.
Yeah, I will.
There's a proposition that she has to follow, Prop 117, that says that the state has mandated that the counties increase the values 5% until it reaches the full cash value. And the reason that they were doing this is because of what happened when the bust came and everyone lost their values. So again, I'm not going to say I'm an expert in that. You'll have to talk to her. But she said that she's mandated to do that. So that the values are going up. And yes, that's going to affect, and that's what they're talking about. When we have to have a truth in taxation whenever it goes up, but we did not vote for that. So I'm just going to say this.
Yes.
So for the last 7 years, I have been working to not raise that rate.
It was great. And I love you for
taking
that.
Taking from here, taking from there. And because we did that, we let some things go in the county. We did, things that, improvements and maintenance and things like that. Because I knew that one day the economy would turn. It always turns, right? It goes in ups and downs. It goes in cycles. So 2 years ago, the county was telling us that they're going to be bankrupt at the end of the year. They're going to be bankrupt. And I'm like, we're never bankrupt. What makes you think we're going to be bankrupt? Now, Trump had just been elected. So it's like, we know, right? We know as Republicans that when you have a businessman, Republican president, chances are things are going to get better. And I knew that we would feel the benefits of that. And I said, our job is to not raise taxes in anticipation of something happening next year. If something happens next year, we'll deal with it next year, right?
Yes.
Just by history, I knew that it never happened that way. I did that. So they didn't do anything. We didn't raise taxes. And of course, just as I had predicted, things got really good. The reason that we made the county's net assessed value reflects a 5% increase over the prior year. Almost half of the increased value is from new construction. So, when we're doing our thing, we're looking at the county. I'll be honest with you, not once was that valuation really ever, it was never brought up. We never talked about it at the supervisor level. Never.
Yeah.
Not one supervisor brought it up and said, maybe we should, down the rate a little bit so people are paying the same. Nobody said that. That's why I was a little upset last night, because in my opinion, after working my butt off for 7 years, not to raise taxes, I felt like, well, we can finally take a breath, reassess. Next year, I've said this publicly. This isn't just an opportunity. I've said this publicly in the last month while I've been going around town talking about the budget. If we have a surplus next year, and I would put money on it that we will, okay?
Yeah. With
the way things are going, this county's going gangbusters, we will. I will work to bring down that rate. But this year, I wanted to make sure it wasn't an anomaly. It gives us some breathing room. But that value that is affecting the amount you're going to pay that has the truth in taxation has nothing to do with the supervisors. So it's a little disingenuous to say that I am raising your taxes.
I understand what you're saying. I understand. This is coming from the assessor office, and I completely understand. But the point, you still had some sort of a voice into that. I mean, you had, for what I understand, a 4-against-1 vote into this matter. Am I right or wrong? I mean, so at least Supervisor Gould told me.
That's true. Yeah. All right, I'm going to say this, and I probably shouldn't because, Ron-Gould's my colleague.
Yes.
But he never said why he voted against it. If he had said, I think we should lower the taxes, we would have had a discussion, and who knows where it would have gone. And because I'm telling you, I really like that we had this time that we could just sort of sit back and see where we're at the county.
Yeah.
But if he made a big deal of it, I don't know what would have happened. But he didn't. So the first time I heard about this was last night.
Oh, wow.
So that's why I was a little...
Interesting. By the way, when I
I knew that it was going up, but the first time I heard that the supervisor should take it down, because it made it... I'm going to be honest, it made it look like we were raising the taxes.
But technically,
the board are not.
You're not, but you still voted. Of course, this come to the assessor office. I understand perfectly what you say. But at that point, you say something very nice. So, okay, this year, we're going to let it go to have a little bit of extra room, and then next year we will get it back. Unfortunately, government doesn't work like that. You see the city of Kingman, when they did the increase of whatever point was, they're supposed to be to a sunset, and say, no, we want to keep it. Government, when it comes down to surplus, they will spend it, always, is proven. When it comes down to repealing taxes...
Listen to me.
Yes, I'm here.
There was a 20-year sales tax that was put in place in 1999. The only person on our board who was on that board was Supervisor Johnson.
Yes.
And it was a 20-year that's to build all those buildings, right?
I remember
that.
And
he said, and I respect this, he said, I told my constituents that it was going to sunset. It's not going to be one of these things that are going to keep going. That, like everybody expects. I expect that, right? I mean, that's what we've been doing. But it's sunsetting this year. Everybody will pay a quarter-cent less as sales tax, and I'm telling you, that adds up. So, I looked at that, too, when we were doing that, but again, it was never discussed at the board level about the valuation affecting, and it's a small effect, small. Again, it's small to me, might not be small to somebody else. I understand that, but it was never discussed. And now we're voting on Monday on the final budget, and it really is too late. I mean, the tentative budget is really the time to be discussing these things. It's too late now. You can't, by law, we have to have a budget by the first meeting.
I understand.
And
it's, maybe it's too late for this year, but it's never too late to talk.
Wait. But
Never too late to talk between us. I mean, at least maybe too late for the supervisors meeting, but I think for us constituents, it's never too late to understand how
we can talk about it. In fact, we can talk about it on Monday at the board meeting next Monday. We can.
Monday.
But I just wish that, if it was important to, other people, because I told you how I feel. I'll be point blank. After working all these years, battling with the county to keep your taxes the way they are.
And that's true.
I felt like we're keeping it down. We lowered it. And it's a wash because of that TV district, which I hate. But it gives us a breathing room that we need.
And that's okay.
Next year,
Supervisor Angius, Hildy, if that's what you feel, that's great. I mean, at least you stick to your guns, and that's fine.
No, I do. I'm not apologizing.
And that's fine. For me, the only point was, you're right. I saw you the first. Most of your records, always fighting, sometimes even alone, against all these, lions, there, try to bite everything they could out of our tax dollars, and you were always there, firm, by yourself. I saw that. I saw you during the, TV district, war, I want to call it, or battles, and you were sticking to your guns by yourself, even when it was probably not popular, because many people, they want their free TV, and then, of course, they know, like, we're supposed to pay for it, but whatever. The point, you did your best in every time, and I was always very impressed. Now, this one put me a little bit off guard, and normally I wouldn't even be so personally, if I had to talk about other supervisors that are pretty much always disappointed, I don't care. I don't even waste the time. But with you, it's kind of like almost, in a political way, I love you, okay? So now out of the blue, you betrayed me. What did you do? Hildy, how could you do that to me? And I felt a little bit more like that.
I want to tell your listeners that, you said, I don't like that you're angry with me, and you said, I'm disappointed, and I said, that's worse. I'd rather you be angry with me than disappointed. No. It sounds like,
because I always so very impressed,
I want to again tell your listeners,
Go ahead.
Our taxes, there are so many ways you can, not only, and I want everybody to come and say their piece and say how they feel about this, but I want them to have the information. I want them to, and I don't think what was going on Facebook last night was really all the information. It just sounded like we were raising, that's what people took away, because a lot of people don't understand. It's a complicated system, and probably by design. I won't
and that's why I wanted you on the show to talk about that.
You're paying the most.
Yes.
You're paying the most. So in my tax bill, my entire tax bill for my 1,800 square foot house, okay, in Laughlin Ranch is $1,659.
Wow.
Out of that, to Mohave-County, just to Mohave-County, it's $294.97.
Wow.
Then, but I would be, misleading if I didn't also say that the flood control, because that's a county thing, is $75, and the library district is $40. So altogether, it is less than $500 a third of my bill goes to county. The rest of it goes to
School.
everywhere else.
Yeah.
The schools and
There
the
we
fire
go.
districts, and those are the places where people want to affect change. Go to those district meetings. They're elected too.
That's true.
And
That's very
by
true.
my experience, you know, nobody goes. So they basically do what they want to do. And there's so much that goes on in these little boards. I'm not accusing anyone of anything.
It is
You know,
true.
These are boards that are not compensated. They're volunteering to do it. They run to do it. But a lot of people don't understand it. You know, sometimes it takes a while to really understand government budgeting.
It's true. And the school
that's
district
kind of
is
my story. And
yeah. Hildy, let me stop you 1 second. Time is getting through almost at the end. The school district, of course, the fire department, they are all the biggest chunk that we pay. And unfortunately, there is so much waste. There is so much corruption. I'm speaking for myself. Of course, I see every year, you know, increase. I have different properties around Arizona. And it might scare, you know, what my fear is, you know, people that somehow still in the business force, so they can still work. Maybe they can manage it, even if it's very morally wrong. It's kind of a form of serfdom, you know, back to the time of the kings. Lords pay for something that you're supposed to own. But the sad thing, when you are retired, you know, you're on pension or maybe your social security, many of these seniors people, they will pretty soon realize that they're going to choose between eating or owning the property that their family built for many, many years, you know. That's very sad.
I totally agree with you. One of my least, a pet peeve of mine is when politicians, when they're trying to justify an increase, whether it be a bond or property tax or sales tax, they'll say, it's just a hamburger a day.
Yeah.
Or a hamburger a week.
Yeah.
And it's like, that is to me is so insulting. It makes my hair stand up because there are people who can't afford a hamburger a week.
That's true.
You know, and it's so arrogant. Yeah, so we try to be, we try to be really, you know, careful about what we do. And I just wanted at least my constituents to know that, and I think they do, because I keep them posted that, you know, I represent them, and that's not just something a politician. I've always said that, and I've gone to bat for them. I don't represent the county workers. I represent them. Now, in the budget, and I don't know what Supervisor Gould said, there are some things I don't like. That is politics. You know, we get a few things we like, we get a few things we don't like, but at the end of the day, we have to vote for something. If somebody, you know, it's nice you have one person who votes no, right? They vote no, and that's nice, but we have to do our jobs too. We have to have a budget.
All right.
So if you feel strong, and that's what, if I feel very, very strongly about something, I'm going to bring it to the board, right?
Yes.
And I hope the other supervisors do, and convince me. That's what my job is, to convince convince me that we can do this, and I'll be happy to do it. And so I think that's really where the misunderstanding is, that you know, the discussion, which is a valid one, has to be done a little earlier.
All right. Listen, I really appreciate your time, your kindness. You know, I'm not mad at you. Sometimes I need to grab your attention, especially when I'm at dinner. I know my point. You know, sometimes, you know, especially when I'm having dinner, I'm drinking wine, I'm eating out of the blue, I see that, oh no, not her. She's stabbing my heart.
I know. And I appreciated you know, talking to me and you know, because I just wanted to clear the record, because it is complicated if you don't understand the way government works, and anyone can call me at any time, and you know, I know some people are going to disagree, but I think great things are happening in Mohave County. It's going gangbusters, and
all right.
I really believe that next year we're going to be able to do some great things.
Thank you. Listen, thank you very much, Supervisor hildy-angius. Big hugs, and talk to you soon, okay?
Big hugs.
Bye-bye.
Okay, thanks, Luca.
Bye-bye, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, that's it, you know, I mean, I still don't like the way she wore it, don't get me wrong, okay? Nothing changed, but she's a great lady. The point that we can at least civilly talk about these things. Many other politicians, probably they would have just run. They don't want to talk this stuff, especially when they vote in a different way from the host. Instead here, we have at least the civility to discuss things. On top, regardless that, she's been really, truly, most of her the time that she's been serving as county supervisor, she's always been voting really 100% right when it comes down to keep the government small. Most of the times. Don't get me wrong. She's done a couple of things we disagree. I brought her on the show. Funding, for example, for a big new business coming to mohave-county. I don't think that's the role of government. But even there, the most overvoting record, in my humble opinion, has been always tried to keep this overspending at bay, away. Okay, so that's the point. Now on this, so we disagree. I'm sad. I also understand maybe Supervisor Gould may have a chance to brought it up more. I don't know. I wasn't there. All I can do here as a humble host, give a chance to both sides to talk, and more important to us, the listeners, and also the people, that this is exactly why it's so important. This is not just about Mohave-County, Arizona issue. Taxation is a global issue. It's a human issue. Taxation means the power to destroy, the power that government can ruin your life. Talking about the right to be happy, they can make your life miserable. That's what they're doing, these bastards, okay? And they said they can steal legally, through the law, your property. Think about it. People think, oh, we need property taxes. Okay, if you want to follow that type of, thinking, if they can tax your home, now they can tax your couch. After all, it's a property. Oh, they're already taxing your car, don't forget. Why don't you tax also maybe the painting? You have a beautiful $5,000, maybe $100,000 painting in your home. Why not taxing that? Why not taxing your silverware? Why not taxing this chair where you sit? After all, is a property, right? Why don't tax your shoes? After all, you're using those shoes walking on public street. Is it true? You see where is the point is. We're supposed to be taxed once, maybe at the moment of the transaction, and I'm not even like that, but okay, I understand. We need to give a little bit of taxes to keep this government going lean. We need some basic service, and one of the services the government should provide to protect our rights. They forget that. It is not to redistribute wealth. It's to protect our rights. Among those, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness and property. Pursuit of happiness, as former Senator Gould said, property is one of them. Otherwise, we have nothing else, nothing changed from the time of the ancient Roman Empire, where there were the emperor, then there were the different, nobles, and then there were the serfs. Or you want to go down in history, Middle Ages, there is the king, then there are the little lords, and then there are the serfs. Nothing changed. And now there are what? The new type of serfdom. We elect the politicians, the new little kings that we got to elect. And then, of course, there are the bureaucrats, that are pretty much kind of a special class. If you want to make a good living, go to work for the government. That's pretty much the story. And yes, it's true. Comparing private sector to average worker in the public sector is treated like a god. And the point, then they were us, the cows to milk, because that's pretty much where they got their juice. Without us, government would not exist. Isn't it nice? Think about it. You think that you need the government? No, the government needs you. The government needs us. That's the difference. They need us more than we need them. Or people say, how can we do without streets, without schools? First of all, we done fine without school, government-funded school. That was the best thing ever happened to humanity. People were able to think by themselves. Okay? Public education is just an indoctrination. We know that now. I think you should know that too. I'm sure you do, if you're listening to this show. And then streets and everything else, guess what? I still believe the private sector probably can do better, can do cheaper. When it comes down to fire department, years ago, I had an idea. I mean, after all, it's like an insurance pretty much, okay? You want to have a service. In case there is a fire, you want to have somebody professionally come there and take care of the fire. I'm sure there are private companies that would love to do that. And guess what? You can pay a monthly fee, like an insurance, private insurance. But I can choose which company I want. That would stop the problem of these fire districts overcharge. As we were talking with the Supervisor Hildy-Angius, there is not really any supervision. People don't even go to these meetings. They can do whatever they want, and they manage huge budgets, pension, retirements. Oh my gosh! The same service could be provided by several open market private companies that you could choose and shop. I would like to have that service, that company. So that's the story, my friends. This is just my humble opinion, of course. You don't need to agree with me, but that's fine. Now, a little bit of a break. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM and also 104.1 FM. Do not go away.
Are you ready to get lost in lust? Immerse yourself in a thunderstorm of emotions and passion. Order John Luca-Zanna's new book, Perfectly Crazy, 69 erotic visions and love poems with forbidden erotic Italian phrases. Perfectly Crazy by John Luca-Zanna. Available all over the world at Amazon.com and www.zanna.us.
It is time. Get your Arizona Concealed Carry Permit now with Arizona Concealed Carry Permit by Zanna Enterprises, LLC. Become a more responsible and educated gun owner. Carry legally concealed in 35 states. Carry permitted in restaurants where alcohol is served. Learn where and how you can legally carry a firearm in Arizona. Learn where you can use deadly force. Where can you display your gun or not for self-defense? Learn how to deal with law enforcement while carrying a firearm. Learn how to be aware of your surroundings and how to avoid a confrontation. Buy your gun without waiting for a background check. Get your Arizona Concealed Carry Permit now. Go to www.azccw.us. Go to www.azccw.us. Free for single mothers and people with disabilities. Hey, you. Yes, I'm talking to you. You deserve a break. Enjoy a moment of indulgence. It's time for Zanna Coffee. Guilt-free pleasure. Zanna Coffee is the organic coffee to amplify your senses and enhance love for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Only the best organic and GMO-free coffee beans from around the world that I selected. Zanna Coffee brings you happiness in every cup. Fair trade certified, sustainable organic coffee. That means we do not use slaves. Free Zanna songs with every coffee bag. Find Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com. www.zannacoffee.com. Get your coffee bag now. Don't be cheap. Life is too short and you deserve the best. Zanna Coffee.
Here we are back. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca-Zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM and also 104.1 FM. Probably one of the few reasons, maybe many reasons, I don't know, but not really, why I'm still here on the air. Because I truly believe that that can be my little contribution to, I don't know, understand things. First of all, I learn. Every time I'm here, I learn. I tell you, this is not about me teaching. I'm not teaching anything. I'm learning. As I learn, I try to share what I learn. And one thing I like to learn is how things work. More important, how we can try to find a way to interact with things that normally can be a pain in the arse. In this case, government. And I tell you, Mohave-County may have a lot of problems. You know, it's like it's planet Earth or whatever. You know, plain Earth, whatever you want to call it. It's still humanity, okay? There's still government. There's still corruption. But one thing I prove with our actions, we proved, not just me, we proved, like Supervisor hildy-angius was making notice, that sometimes you don't need a majority of people to try to make changes. And when I say changes, I don't like to change things because I need to change. I want to just bring things the way it should be. And if you believe in the United States Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the way it should be government should be by the people, for the people. Okay, more important. It shouldn't be for themselves using our money. And also should be that we, the people, are truly the boss. That's the reality. They forget this concept. Because no matter what type of government, even at city level or county level, local level, the moment that they jump on their chair, they sit down, they already see their position. Normally, if you notice in these meetings, their position is always above the average citizen. Seriously, the chair is situated on a podium. That psychologically starts to get into their mind. And they think, oh, I'm a little lord. And they act like it, seriously. So one thing I like about Mohave-County, though, people can get involved. We can get involved. And if it can happen in Mohave-County, it can happen anywhere around the world. Everywhere good people want to take, a little bit of responsibility. After all, governments don't go crazy because they are crazy. No, the government normally start to go nuts when people are part anymore of this process. They completely let it go. If you don't go, you don't follow, you don't pay attention, you wake up one day, you will be a slave, complete slave. So one thing I tell you, we proved here in Mohave-County years ago, not even that long ago, about 10 years ago, that a few of us start to get vocal, still civilly. I mean, nobody got hurt. We didn't have to do a revolution like our founding fathers did, but still getting vocal, getting present. We started to create at least an attention on what was happening in Mohave County at the time. And new people started to get involved politically also. So that's very important. That's why I like here living in Arizona. I'll tell you, we have, yes, a lot of problems too. We still have government to face, taxes and everything else, but we have rights. And among those, we have the right to freedom of speech, and also more important, we have the right to keep and bear arms. And whatever other rights they try to mess with us, we'll fight it to keep it. Simple as that. So, and I would like to invite all my friends and listeners around the world, don't look at this just as an Arizona topic. This is not about Mohave County. This is about humanity. You have that power as an individual to stand up and say no, regardless how many people they are following you. You don't need a majority to spread the truth. You don't need a majority to make a point. I remember myself when I sued Mohave County in federal court for something that I could have probably just let it go. I thought about it. I've been thinking about it. I can just say shut up and let it go, or completely also uphold my oath that I took when I became a citizen. That was to defend this Constitution. I truly believe that fighting for the Bill of Rights, yes, fighting for the Bill of Rights, it's our duty and also my pleasure, I must tell you. So that's the bottom line. And when I say fight, you don't need to go there and get a rifle and start to shoot at people. Don't get me wrong. Maybe not yet. Probably pretty soon in this country, I wouldn't be surprised the way things are going. But right now, all we have to do is just exercise our First Amendment. Just go out there and start to speak up and start to engage people. That's it. Start to also not be afraid just because somebody has some government title, bureaucrat or whatever. Don't forget, they work for you. They work for us. That's the bottom line. So anyway, that's the spirit of the show. This is called Love, Guns, and Freedom. I truly believe that, after all, they're all wars that they're interconnected. I always say there is no love unless there is also freedom, and there is no freedom unless there is love. And all that, you must have guns. Otherwise, who's going to protect your freedom? I know it sounds crazy, but maybe it is. Talking about crazy stuff, a lot of news we've been kind of missing a little bit, but not really, because, I will talk probably next week about the news. A lot of things going on, state level, federal level. Property taxes, by the way, it is an endless, timeless topic. This is the foundation of freedom, and it's connected to politics. When people say, I don't want to get involved into politics, I say, okay, that's your choice, but politics exactly means the way you're going to be able to eat or have a house, or you can do both, especially when you're retired. So you need to get involved. That's the bottom line. And I say you don't need to join any party. You don't even need to be a party person. I have no party anymore. I used to be a Republican years ago, and I truly believe that to be truly independent probably is the best way, because, you can vote for wherever you want. I vote eventually for the person that represents the principles of freedom, or at least is closest to the Constitution. And the United States Constitution may not be perfect, after all, it was written by human beings. But let me tell you, for somebody who was able to travel around the world and visit in different countries, it's the closest thing to perfection, even when it's not perfect. There is no other piece of document, no other type of form of government that originally, when it was created, was at this point. People may say, there is slavery. Guess what? There was slavery everywhere. Don't get me wrong. There is still slavery around the world. Okay? The point is, at least in this country, for the first time, they try to address it. They try to attempt to address it. And they had to compromise. Of course, this union would never started it if, especially the southern state, they were not able to allow to do this terrible practice, by the way. But the thing is, it wasn't about America. It was about the world, and it's still going around. The difference, though, here, this country fought to stop slavery. That's the bottom line. So next Sunday, we'll talk a little bit about other things, probably about very disturbing news that we have. This Clinton situation with Epstein, whatever is his name. It is not going away, hopefully. Hopefully, it's going to go to a level that we need to pursue. Because if there is no justice, if there is no more rule of law, We're living under tyranny. Selective enforcement of the law, it is tyranny. And we need to really bring it back. I mean, I tell you, I cannot think that people like Hillary Clinton or even former, I don't want to call him president, for me he was even born here, according to my records, he's from Kenya. But anyway, Mr. Obama, they're supposed to be prosecuted just for what they've done. So Hillary Clinton supposed to be right now facing a trial, at least that. Meanwhile, everybody else would have been facing probably eternity of consequences, hundreds of years for what she's done. All right, little break. Not really. We're at the end. I want to say thank you for your help. If you want to support this show, of course, you can go to www.zanna.us. I'm not the government. I'm not stealing from you. I'm not forcing you to buy anything, but I ask you politely. And hopefully whenever you pay for something that I produce or I create, one of my songs, or maybe the coffee, Zanna Coffee, or one of my classes, self-defense classes at Kingman First on Force, or anything else you get, even my erotic poems book or other books you can find on Amazon, at least you get something in return. Something that I put all my heart, all my love, all my work. This is not exactly, as I said, this is the idea of freedom. You can choose to support me or you can choose to avoid me. That's fine. It's your choice. But if you support me, I really, truly appreciate you. And also I appreciate if you support K-Talks. K-Talks has been the station that since the beginning gave me this opportunity that honestly I don't deserve because I said, I got better with my English probably. And, but, for somebody like me, sometimes I can't even easy to understand. I mean, my English really goes to hell when I get a little excited. I can't believe they gave me a microphone all these years. So I want to say, more important, they gave me the opportunity to say exactly what I think. No censorship. That's something amazing. And I don't even run the ideas with them. I just have that type of opportunity. So I really am thankful. So support K-Talks if you can, okay? Now I want to leave you and I say thank you very much for listening. God's willing, I'll talk to you next Sunday. Don't forget to www.kingmanfirstonforce.com, 3001 Stockton Hill Road. That's where self-defense is a human right because we broadcast from here. Don't go away. Oh, you can go away, but stay around. Ciao.
Wake up, America, before it's too late. They're trying to make you fade away. They're trying to kill your faith. Every day you're invaded, your soil desecrated. Politicians turn their back, you're under attack.